You're about to watch a video that's an excerpt of one of my online courses, free sample if you will. If you enjoy it, please get in touch, dan@brojo.org, and let me know what you think. In this video, we're going to be talking about my very favorite concept of everything in my life, really, but in particular the nice guy recovery or recovery from people-pleasing syndrome, and that is honesty. Niceness and people-pleasing is essentially a lie. It is a manipulation we use to control the way other people think and feel so that we can manage the way that we think and feel. So honesty is essentially the cure. It's very difficult to be both honest and a people pleaser. Usually you can only be one at a time. There's very little overlap. So the great thing about radical honesty, about being really honest without caring what other people think, is that if you're doing that, you know in that moment you're definitely not a nice guy. What is honesty? Let's not be complicated about it. Speak the truth. Speak what's on your mind, or at least at the front of your mind. Tell people how you really feel about things. Tell people your opinions. And if you can't do that, at least don't lie. So either you're speaking the truth or you're staying silent. And that extends to your body language as well. Don't laugh when you think it's not funny, right? At least be silent with your body language. At least don't pretend to agree with your body language when you don't really agree. Don't go somewhere that you don't want to go. Don't do something that you think is wrong to do. It's very, very simple. Now, trying to figure out what is the truth is very complicated. But asking yourself, am I being honest right now? That's very simple. Generally speaking, there are some things that need to be turned down, and there's some things that need to be turned up. Some things that need to be removed, some things that need to be added. When I say something needs to be turned down, we're generally talking about exaggeration and adding details, fiction usually, to try and make things more interesting or more funny or more memorable or more impressive. So if you might add to a story to make it funnier, you're just going to remove the bit that you add and still tell the story. That's more honest. When you talk about bringing things up, talk about being a bit stronger about the way you feel, using words like angry rather than annoyed, or frustrated, using words like confused rather than unsure, just starting to show the actual feeling rather than minimizing it or sugarcoating it, and removing things like false humility. You know that thing you do where you play down how well you did or you undermine your success? We're going to stop doing that now. So if you did well, and speak about it as such. Don't pretend that it wasn't as good as it was. Don't pretend that you aren't as excited about the thing as you really are. We're going to turn up the stuff that you dull down to avoid upsetting people. And we're going to turn down the stuff that you turn up to make people like you. A very specific piece of guidance I'd give you is practice not apologizing. Now, technically there's nothing wrong with apologizing, but when nice guys and people pleasers do it, it's almost always an act of manipulation. You're not really sorry, or if you are sorry, it's for something you don't actually control. Only apologize if it's something you can control and you genuinely regret doing it even if no one caught you doing it. Anything else, don't say sorry. Try to keep it simple and direct. Just the facts and your feelings about those facts or your opinions about those facts and nothing more. Don't try to manage the other person's reaction for them. You know all that extra stuff you put into your conversation to try and make it easier for them to receive it or try and make them more likely to listen to you or any of that stuff you do to try and manage the way they receive your information? Do your best to remove that stuff. Just give it to them hard and straight and true and let them figure out how they're going to react to it. One way to think about it is imagine you get a knock on the door at 3 a.m. and it's the police. What would it feel like if it took them 15 minutes to build up to the fact to tell you that your partner's been in a car accident? If they did all that padding. Like, oh, maybe you should have a seat, this is going to be hard to hear and, I don't want to ruin your night. And they do that big wind-up where you're just sitting there going, God, tell me. I want you to act like the police in real life. Just say, look, got some bad news for you. Your partner's been in an accident. And you just cut straight to the chase. Now, in real life, that might look like, boss, I got to say I disagree with you on that one, right? Or, excuse me, I just wanted to tell you I think you're very attractive and I noticed you straight away. It's these little things where you just call out the headline of what you want to say, the full truth, right up front, without any explanation, without any suspense or build-up or justification. Just give it to them, let them react, and then maybe explain yourself if they didn't understand. But don't do it before they react. A key focus is your preferences. What do you like? What do you not like? What do you prefer? What do you want? What do you not want? Try to be as honest about these things more than anything else. In fact, this is the main thing you need to focus on. So when somebody says, do you want this for dinner? Don't ever say, I don't know, or it doesn't matter, you choose. Always say which you prefer, even if you only slightly prefer it. This is very, very important for recovery from people-pleasing, because people-pleasing is a lot of self-suppression. You convince yourself that you don't care that much about things so that you never have to have a confrontation about them. It's time to turn off that suppression. No matter how slightly you feel in favor of something, you've got to go all in on it. So when somebody asks you, what do you want for dinner? Say, I want chicken, even if you know they want pizza. It's a little thing and you don't have to win the fight. You might end up having pizza, but as long as you gave breath to the truth about how you feel. Never say, I don't know. Never say, I don't care, because that's never true. Always call out your preference, even if it's only slight. Now, you're not going to get this perfect, I still don't. And there'll be times where you accidentally or unintentionally manipulate someone with dishonesty. That's okay, provided you tell them about it. So a lot of honesty is really about working backwards to undo the lies or the mistruths that you just told, or the ones from your past. I'd say start with the more recent ones and work on the big lies from your past later on when you're more brave. But let's say I notice that I'm telling you a story and that I'm exaggerating the story to make you more impressed. I can then tell you that. I say, you know what, I just noticed that I added all these details to the story so that you would think it was funnier. I do that sometimes, just ignore me when I do that. You can reveal your little manipulative strategy. It's actually quite fun to do and most people are pretty accepting of it. They think it's a good laugh. And you can learn to add some humor to this. You can learn to laugh at being a nice guy rather than trying to hide it. You can call it out like, I'm a people pleaser. You caught me. Except they didn't catch you, you caught you, and you showed them. This is one of the easiest ways to redeem yourself in terms of dishonesty, this light-hearted, fun approach of calling out your crap, and it makes people far more likely to forgive you for your lies, and for some reason that I still don't understand, people will think of you as more honest when you reveal that you've lied than if you never lie at all. I still don't know why that happens, but people take revealing of lies, revealing of strategy, revealing of manipulation as a greater sign of integrity than never actually lying in the first place. Start small and build up. Odds are if you're a long-term nice guy or people pleaser, you are very, very dishonest. In fact, you're very dishonest with yourself. You probably think of yourself as an honest person. And yet if I was to ask you, do you tell everyone how you feel about them? Are you always upfront about your opinions? Do you confront people when you think they're wrong? We're going to figure out just how honest you really are. That's okay. Start small. You know, I remember one of the most significant things I ever did when I was working on this journey right at the beginning is I was running a team meeting and I told my team that I was feeling a little bit stressed. Now that was actually kind of underplaying it. I was very stressed. But it was a big deal for me to tell people that I was stressed. I never did that before because I always wanted them to think of me as perfect and totally under control. But it was a little step that was very significant for me. So I don't have to suddenly confront all the bullies from my past about how they treated me. You know, that's something I work on later. Right now I'm just going to be a little bit more honest about my emotions. I'm maybe going to tell someone I feel safe with how I really feel, or admit to someone that I exaggerated a story, or anything I can feel like I can handle it. Start there and you can build up to the bigger level of honesty later. Don't put pressure on yourself to be some 100% radically honest person overnight. It's not going to happen. It's too scary. But you can increase the honesty by 1, 5, 10% each day and you'll get there eventually. Track and measure. Review each day at the end of the day and pick up some key conversations or interactions you had and ask yourself, how honest was I? And when you were really honest, give yourself a pat on the back. And when you weren't, ask yourself, why not? Was I afraid of their reaction? Did I make up a story? Was it just a habit and I didn't notice myself doing it? And just build up your self-awareness around your dishonesty. That's all. You don't need to put pressure on yourself. You don't need to say, I must now go and do something about it. Just notice it more. Because a lot of the times the reason you're being dishonest is because you're unconscious to it happening. It's an autopilot response. Once you become aware of it, through backwards kind of reviewing, you'll notice it happen and you might stop yourself a little more and you might catch it and correct it a little more and slowly build up to being an honest person. You'll probably end up going through a phase where you start to doubt why you say anything. You don't even really know if you're ever being honest. Is it all a manipulation? It can get a little confusing, but this is actually your fear just trying to stop you from engaging in further honesty. To keep this simple, what you need to do is speak first and figure it out later. If you don't know that what you're saying is honest, or you don't know why you're saying it, if you've got good intentions, doesn't matter. Say it first, and then once you've said it, look back over it and go, why did I really do that? Was that the truth? It's a lot easier to measure after it's out than before it leaves your mouth. So speak first, clean it up later. Let's say you say something and you're like, that wasn't quite honest. Just tell the person. Right? You know what? As soon as I said that, I realized it's not quite the truth. What I really mean is blah, blah, blah. And that's how you slowly build up to being a more honest person, which, by the way, you're going to enjoy a lot more than keeping up the mask and the performance all the time and being exhausted. Are you a nice guy or people pleaser who wishes they were more assertive, more honest, and better respected by others? Since 2013, I've been helping people just like you discover their integrity and apply it courageously to build deep and meaningful connections, get respected by others, and become the confident person you've always wanted to be. Imagine being able to speak your mind without worrying what other people will think or worrying that it's the right thing to say, and being able to assertively stand up for yourself and your loved ones. Imagine never feeling the need to apologize for who you are or what you want, and being able to live carefree without shame or the I'm not good enough story in your head. Imagine going to bed knowing that you courageously took every opportunity available to you and you've got no regrets because you always know what you should be doing in every situation. I'm so confident in my ability to help people like you unleash your highest level of self-worth that I give people a free coaching session to test what I'm doing. In this 1-hour session, we will uncover the biggest barrier to your confidence, whether it's an awareness problem, you don't know what you should be doing differently, or it's a courage problem, you know what you should be doing, but you find it too intimidating. I will guide you to make a breakthrough with your behavior to get through that barrier in a powerful way without feeling terrified and without destroying everything you love. I've had some people find this first session so powerful that I never hear from them again simply because they didn't need anything more after that. It launched them into the highest level of confidence that they've ever experienced. And if that's the result you get, I'm good with that. One client put it, this session was more valuable to me than 3 years of therapy combined. So if you're tired of trying to keep everybody happy, and you're sick of worrying what other people think of you, and you're concerned that your people-pleasing and conflict avoidance is going to damage your relationships, then come and have a talk with me. Worst case scenario, you get to experience what it's like to talk with someone who actually understands what it's like to be you. I've lived the nice guy experience for decades. I know it inside and out. I know that pain. Worst case scenario, and very likely, you will have such a powerful insight into a behavioral change that you can make in the next 24 hours to significantly improve your confidence, relationships, and career. All I ask is that you be honest, open to change, and willing to try something new. Why wait another 10 years to discover confidence when you can do it today? Fill out the brief form below to apply for a trial coaching session. Do this quickly because there are limited spots each month, and then I'll get back to you to book in a time to talk.